Okay, now still in Argentina.
Now, in some ways, I had to play a little bit against myself because in some important games later on, I played myself this line
Mm.
with closed Benoni, C5, E5. If black plays G6 and later the E6 is the normal Benoni, the open Benoni. With E5 immediately is the closed Benoni, which is also a very interesting line, more strategical and usually better for white all the time. Okay, E5, knight C3.
So if white takes here,
No, if white takes, there is nothing. After F takes E6, you have nothing with white, and black has no problem at all. Later on, he plays himself D5
mhm,
and frees him. No, it's not good to take in E6. No,
okay,
you have to be patient with white. For about 20 moves, you have to be patient. Everything will be theory, and complicated enough. So D6, E4, yeah. And here, G6. This is the other line, the normal line. The normal line from King's Indian and Benoni. The alternative is to play here Bishop E7. Bishop E7 is another line that I played myself against Reshevsky, and finally I won a very nice game with black, you see. Later, much later. We showed it already. But it's another game. G6 is the main line here, G6. Bishop E2, Bishop G7, now Bishop G5. Bishop G5 is a so-called Averbach variation against this possibility from black that I played also against the Spanish Grandmaster Diaz del Corral in 85, I think, or 75. Was one game that we showed already. Very nice game also, very complicated until then. Okay, so here h6, and instead of coming back with the bishop in h4, which is one of the main lines, bishop h4,
yeah,
we put white can put the bishop in d2 is another idea, and another line to play. We'll see. More positional now. Okay, you keep the possibilities to play on both sides with bishop d2. Or now h4 first to try to open a little bit the game. He plays h5 himself. He controls the square g4, but white controls the square g5. White, as always, after the opening is a little bit better. Okay, so knight d7, g3. First we control the squares, and rook b8. Well, after rook b8, queen c2, little by little, as always. Knight f8, knight g5, knight g4. Okay, f3, knight back to h6. Everything is theory. It looks a little bit strange like this after the opening, but white is always with a tempo. Therefore, white is a little bit better. And from this moment, the idea will be very clear. Black is trying to do something on the king side. White tries to open on the queen side. You see, this is the two lines of play. Here. So b6, he's waiting. Now, another possibility was to try to stop the white's play by playing himself a5. But it's very unpleasant because you have a weak square on b5, and white can control this and have some initiative all the time. And okay, this is more normal b6. And now white gives for a few moves the pawn in a5, but he can open the game, and later on he can take back the pawn with a much better structure. So okay, f6, knight h3. All right, so now he took the pawn and knight d1. Now it's clear, white takes back the pawn, and the structure is clearly better for white, with the idea to open the game later with the move b4. This is the plan for white, you see. Okay, so bishop d7, he has to wait, no? So bishop takes, queen c8, knight f2, of course. No? Yet the knight was attacked twice. And here, knight h7, he prepares castle. At least the king will be safe. And now knight d3, f5. Okay, he tries to open there, white tries to open on the other side, b4. So from here, it's very clear what to do with both, in both cases. So, right, castle. This is his hope, to open the game on the king side, with the white king still in e1. But the king is all right. The king is safe in e1, no problem. Yeah. So now we have time to take in c5. Now the structure is excellent for white, you see, because we have in any endgame, the d pawn is protected and free, and the structure for black is bad. a6 is weak, c5 is weak, e5 is weak, you know. So by a normal play, white is much better here, you know. So right, knight there, and we have time to take in e4 with a piece. If white took back with the pawn, is less dangerous, you know. First of all, we can't attack the pawn twice in c5, and we leave the square g4 for black, and with the king in e1 was not so easy, you know. Like this is much better. All right, so I took with the knight, but now he's trying to come with the knight in d4. Is that enough or not? So it's move by move again. All right, so we
Also,
don't
okay.
we don't give him the possibility to come immediately with tempo in d4 now. So now if he puts the knight there, we have time to take with the bishop. You see, this is the problem. And if he takes back with the pawn c, then we have two free pawns, c and d, you know, very dangerous. So he played in meantime with the knight in f6. But now, again, it's move by move. Now white has time to open the game first. And
But
white,
this pawn is also.
no, it's better to take the other one, you know, to take the other one and have two free pawns, you know. So, right, I took there, and he took in g6. That was his hope, you know. He can at least open a little bit here. And it seems that, okay, black has some counterplay, but it's very risky because white can attack first again, you know. And now, starting from here will be very funny, you know. White takes back, he can take with the queen. It seems that now black has some counterplay. I mean, he could open a little bit, you know. And now queen takes g6. And now look, from here, it will be move by move, you know, very interesting. Queen takes, and now rook e8. He wants to take in d5, and he threatens also e4. Of course, white is much better, but it seems that it's not so easy. First of all, because we are both in time trouble here, you know. But white has the initiative and can move first, you know. So rook takes. Now what to do now with black? You have to do something. He has to take in d5, no? Or no, he took there. And now again, rook a5, Zugzwang, has to do something. If he doesn't play like in our game, he loses immediately. He loses something, at least one piece, you know. So he found the move, queen b6. Now
He's attacking the queen.
he's attacking the queen. Now, unfortunately for him, white can trade queens. And again, it's much better for white. Because when a pawn has initiative, and black is in big trouble on the king side now, you know. So now we moved the idea of play, you know, on the other side. He has to take back, and now white has time to take the pawn in h5, and we attack the bishop from g7. And the threat is also rook g1. What to do now with black? Very unpleasant. Well, he could resign, I think, here already, but we played because of the time trump. So now after rook, bishop b4, in time trump is a terrible move because now we have to move something and is almost lost in every position after rook b4, bishop b4. So, okay, he found finally the best move, attacking something. And knight g3, knight is coming back to e4 now, you see. So rook f7 and knight e4. Finally, again, terrible threat, knight d6 and rook g1 check and so no. The position is completely winning for white. The rest is very interesting because it's tactical, you know, until the end. But it's easy, you know. Rook b8, of course, bishop d6 and rook e8. All right. Finally, we gave a check and bishop g7, king h7 loses immediately, knight g5 check, you know. So, okay, bishop g7. And here, again, the last blow, very, very simple, but very instructive. Okay, now if he takes, after bishop takes, white won all the pawns and the winning position in every part of the game. He can resign immediately, you know. So here, what did I play? Rook g5, and he resigned, no, or what?
No, check.
Check first, and what? King there, and he resigned. Well, finally, it was very easy, but until there, it was very instructive because you had to demonstrate the idea. Why it's better to attack on the queen side and let him do it on the other side, you know. The difference was clear, again, from the strategical point of view, because the structure was clearly better for white. The pawn structure, the control of the square e4, and the control of the game later on, you know, later on. And the result was...
So now he resigned because he is down 3 pawns?
Yeah, first of all, and the threat is also bishop e5. And,
Yes.
you know, one completely. The other threat is also c5. You know, c5, the knight moves and bishop c4, and it's tied up, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, terrible position. If white has only one pawn, it's completely winning, but white has 3 pawns, you know. Yeah, of course.
Enough.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Mr.
So
Gheorghiu.
I hope it was interesting, no?
Very good. Yes.
Yeah.
Very. Thank you.
You're welcome.